Okay.
And I assure you, when we take over government as Kenya Kwanza, you'll have your stake in the port. Mombasa will have its stake. Because what we believe in is opportunities for economic opportunities, and that's the most important thing for us. So I'm glad you're speaking like that, because this country needs innovative ways of looking at our issues. We can't always be just either black or white, just either hinterland or the coast. There is enough in this country for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greed. If we see beyond those divisions of us versus them, everybody benefits from these natural resources.
Let's flip this to one of the key issues, and the polling gentlemen would have known this. One of the three key important issues that I mentioned at the beginning, access to clean water. We have two huge cities, and I think it's one of the top cities, Nairobi, where that clean water, running clean water is a problem. Sakaja, how are you going to fix this?
Water is a problem in Nairobi, and this problem is historic. In Nairobi, we have 4 water sources, starting with Kikuyu Springs. Kikuyu Springs was developed in 1907, and it's a natural source of water, but it only provides 1% of our water. After that, in 1936, we had Ruiru Dam that was developed. That also provides just 4%. And then you go to Sasamua in Nyandarua County, which gives us 11%, and then Dakaine. The last development of a water source for Nairobi was in 1997. So the first issue with Nairobi water, or the water in Nairobi, is the quantity that actually comes in. We need almost 850,000, cubic meters of water, or million liters. If I say that, it's easier to understand. But all we have is 525,600. So there's a shortfall of 325. So the first project the government is doing that will help us with the quantity issue is the Northern Collector Tunnel. That, which ends at the end of 2023, will give us 140,000 million liters of water. So, and it's 94% done in terms of the tunnel, but only 30% done in terms of the pipeline. So we get the quantity. Once we get the quantity, we need to sort out the issue of the distribution of water.
Which is where the key problem is, because part of Nairobi's problem is also the planning, that we built houses everywhere and there was no plan on how infrastructure was going to get in and how other facilities were going to get in.
And you're spot on. So if you see a global capital like Nairobi, because Nairobi is not just what we see it as Kenyans, but what the globe sees it as. It's a global hub. Now the last exploration of water sources in 1997, we have a problem. If someone comes here and tells you that as governor they'll sort out water in a month, they're lying to you. The quantity issue will be sorted out by end of 2023. But beyond that, there are other shorter measures we can make. So even by end of 2023, we'll have only added 140,000 million liters of water, plus, what comes in the Northern Collector Tunnel 2. But in the meantime, there are other short-term things we can do. Number one, sort out the issue of infiltration of the current water distribution system. We have people, and you call them cartels, and I keep saying cartels are a lazy excuse for leaders who don't want to work, who have blocked the actual piping, closed it, closed levers, built houses, and have water bowsers moving around.
Sure.
That is not the solution, water bowsers. Use SCADA technology, for instance, in Nairobi, and you'll be able to tell, as governor, and that's why I picked a deputy governor who's good in systems and IT, that with SCADA technology, I can tell that in Mekato hapa, Kariobangi, or in Langata, and those people who have been blocking water from reaching the residents of Nairobi will be stopped. So it's about governance, it's about the infrastructure, but more importantly, for a long-term solution, because there are no quick fixes for the city. And I'm sorry, there are no quick fixes. But we want diligence and resilience that will give us proper solutions. Let's add the quantity with Northern Collector 1 and 2. Beyond that, there are other projects that are being looked at. But while we're at it, let's have a corrupt-free regime in terms of water governance and water management. We'll use technology to make sure that there's distribution. There are areas in this city that have never had piping. If you go to Embakasi East in Utawala, if you go to Ruai, if you go to Mihango, there's never been any piping. So it can be solved. In the meantime, look at what NMS has been able to do. 100 boreholes. Of course, they're seasonal, but they've been able to serve wananchi, providing water directly to the people as we sort it out. My dream for this city is that every house will have a tap of piped water. It is not about going with buckets.
In how long?
In the next, I have a 5-year term.
So in 5 years, you promise piped water?
Ultimately, by the end of 5 years, there will be piped water for everyone. Because you know something, James, more than 70% of Nairobians have never had a shower from the top.
Okay.
Nimando. Now, going to communal places of, buckets, because we don't even have the pressure. We want to sort it out, but you cannot sort out the problem if you don't understand what the cause of it was. So that is my promise, that we'll sort it out systematically and provide hope for the people.
Let me answer one. There's the same problem. Mombasa, again, a city, water is...
20% of the households are the ones that actually have access to fresh piped water. 20%. 80% depending on the water bowsers, the cartels, the people who are selling so-called fresh water, the rest of the boreholes. We are blessed enough, our underground water level is not as deep as places like Nairobi, so you dig in, I think about 80 meters or so, and you're able to get some water there. But then even that has had a very, very negative effect.
What's your plan?
We have to look at seriously desalination. We're blessed with the ocean. We have an ocean, unlimited supply of water, and every single time that people are out there, and this has happened in other parts of the world. We can never ever say, and I always believe this, the role of government isn't to do business with its citizens. The role of government is to enhance the life of its citizens. So first and foremost, if we can be able to tap into desalination, we don't have to say that we're going to have the manpower, the capacity to...
So what does it need for us to do this, and why has it not been done?
We will, I cannot speak on behalf of the current regime, but I can only speak on behalf of what I intend to do. And one of the things that we do intend to do is consider partnering with other stakeholders into looking at a way of desalinating water. And I'll give you a small example. If you want to know how feasible this is, it's more expensive. The amount of money that you would pay, genuinely pay, per cubic meter of water, if it was coming from Mombasa water, would be cheaper than the cost of, the jerry cans and everything else. All said and done, you've not even included the aspect of the hygiene part of it, the wasting of resources and everything else. But it is actually cheaper. And if we can be able to get that cheaper for people, why would people opt to start going into jerry cans, and people start opting to go into these boreholes?
Do you have timelines for these projects?
Well, I'm anticipating, considering as well procurement laws that are there in this country. I have to consider as well whether a feasibility study has already been done. I know that there are people of interest who've already shown interest through various other means. But we might be able to try and do this in about 3 years.
Okay.
I do not see us having, and I would always rather be judged in saying what it is that I believe, and it actually transpired to be that way. We cannot have a shortcut into this madness. And by the way, you want to know that this is something that can easily be attained. You've got a pipeline, a valuable pipeline, the oil pipeline. If there's a leakage, or even one single part of it that can actually indicate that there's a detour of that oil, it immediately sends a notification. And you're not even looking at one county as Mombasa, with the size of Mombasa being as it is. You've got a pipeline that connects all the way from Mombasa all the way to Nairobi and further. And just by someone trying to tap in, you can actually be able to tell. Okay. We can be able to implement something similar so that we don't waste our resources.
Okay, gentlemen.
And just to emphasize this point, I agree with most of what he's saying.
Not all.
Of course, not all, but most of it, because he understands the issues of Mombasa. I think on top of desalination, you look at Mzima Springs and all these sources of water, we need to tap a lot of it before it gets to the ocean.